Hello everyone, and welcome to the first session of the Instruments of the Orchestra. My name is Michael Taro. I am a music teacher, author, and composer. Well, before we get started, I would like to introduce my co-host. He is the founder and music director and conductor of the Ocean State Orchestra and the Wakefield Concert Band. He is also the music director at Moses Brown School. Would you please welcome Steve Toro?
The presentation is going to include several selections, excerpts from music that I think most of you will recognize. It's really, really nice what Michael did. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be here, I believe, for 5 weeks. The first week being with strings. Next week, it's with woodwinds of the orchestra. The third week will be with brass of the orchestra. The fourth week is with percussion of the orchestra. And then the last week, the fifth week, will be everybody that you see in the next 4 weeks, including this fine group of string players, will come together here and will perform more full-length pieces that you'll be able to enjoy. So I hope that you're able to join us for the next, for this week and the next 4 weeks. It's going to be just a wonderful program.
So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Caroline and Emily, and they're going to be doing discussion and introducing the instruments individually. So would you please welcome Caroline and Emily to do their thing.
Hello everyone, thank you. We're really excited to be here today to demonstrate all the instruments of the string family. Before we put it all together and have our music selections for you, we wanted to give you the chance to listen to each instrument individually and talk a little bit about them and maybe some of the techniques that we're going to use that you'll hear in the songs. So the first instrument that we're going to talk about is the violin. The next instrument that we're going to show you is the one that I'm holding right here. If I hold it up to the violin, you'll see that it's a little bit bigger, so it's going to have a little bit of a lower sound. So maybe if the high E string sound isn't for you, maybe the viola is the instrument for you. Let's see if you recognize the song that I'm going to play. Anybody know that one? What is it? Despacito. I'll play one more for you because that's kind of the higher end of the viola, but it also has a lower end too. Those of you that know that song.
Now the cool thing about the viola is that it's like a baby version of our next instrument, the cello, because they share the same strings. A string, D string, G string, and C string. So because the cello is bigger, it's going to have a much deeper sound than the viola does, even though they have the same strings. So let's hear what it sounds like. In the string family is the double bass. Actually, here's a fun fact. The bass is actually, even though it does have strings, it's actually part of a different family called the viola da gamba family because it has a slightly different shape. These three instruments have a specific curvature, but the double bass is just a little bit different if you look closely. So once again, the double bass is a bigger instrument, so it's going to sound even deeper than the cello does. Let's listen to how this will sound. And that's a very good point. All of these different songs that you've heard us play, we can play them on any of these instruments that you see in front of you. And there's actually a few different techniques that we use while we play. You've seen all of us use this part of our instrument, which is called a bow. And the special thing about it is that it uses this hair. Not a lot of people know this, but we give the horses a haircut, and that's how we get the hair for our bows.
There's one other thing that you can do to play your instrument, and this is how most people start out learning. You actually don't start with the bow. You start by learning something that we call pizzicato. And I get my students to remember what that's called by saying it sounds like pizza taco. So if you can remember pizza taco, you can remember pizzicato. So she's going to demonstrate some pizzicato for you right now. It's plucky. You might be able to pick out some different bowing techniques that we're going to use. When we play really smooth and connected, that's called legato. So when we sound like this, the fancy term for that is legato. But when you hear us playing things that sound really short and a little bit more disconnected, then that's staccato. So there's the difference between those two. Another cool thing that you'll see is when we move our bows to the end and we play really, really fast. That's called tremolo. So look out for that because it's pretty cool.